Hello everyone, welcome to Approach to Anthropology. I'm Dr. Sudhir Kumar and today we are going to discuss religion. Right? Religion is a very important topic, and from this topic every year you can expect a question, right? And there are many dimensions of it. Since religion is, you can see that it is an emotional affair, and at the same time it is a community affair, right? It has its roots in mythology. It has, you can say, sometime it is very old as the society itself, right? From the very beginning there are some uncontrollable things that we humans cannot answer, cannot mitigate. Those things we relate to some supernatural force, and that we can say is some sort of religion, right? If you say that religion, then from the findings of these fossil finds, Neanderthals and all, they started deliberate burial. So some sort of belief in supernatural, or you can say spirit or soul, can be traced back to that time, right? So from where this belief started, you can trace back to Neanderthals, where we have some deliberate burials. Now in this topic we can talk about various things. That what is religion? There are various types of religion. You can say बहुत तरह के religion है. Animism, animatism, totemism, fetishism, naturism, right? Polytheism and monotheism. And there are many types of religious functionaries as well. We have priests, we have shamans, prophets, monks, etc. Right? We have that shaman is also known as medicine man, okay, who perform many functions, right? Then there is a difference between their functions, their roles in different societies. Religion differs from one society to the other, right? Because every society is a product of its own conditions, its own history. If you talk about French Boas, right? On religion, many scholars have conducted studies. You can talk about Tyler, who talk about this evolutionary approach, right? Even Merritt is associated with evolutionary approach. Even Durkheim talks about evolution of religion from totemism, right? Even others talk about Max Muller talk about evolution of religion from naturism. So that is evolutionary approach to understand religion. Another approach is psychological approach. Psychological approach, you can associate it with Sigmund Freud. We have functional approach, that is associated with Malinowski. We have symbolic approach, that you can associate with Clifford Geertz and Victor Turner. In the same unit, we also have to understand the difference between religion and magic. That book, The Golden Bough, written by James Fraser, is a very important source to talk about the religious practices across the world. Even Malinowski wrote a book, Religion, Science and Magic. In that you can talk about the similarities and differences among the three, right? Religion, Science and Magic. This was written by Malinowski in 1929, right? After his field work on the Trobriand Islands, right? Even James Frazer talks about the similarity between magic and science. We have to talk about the theory of totemism, right? On totemism we have seen the important works of James Frazer. James Frazer, when he was studying in the Trinity College, so his friend asked him to write an essay on totemism, right, for Britannica, 9th edition of Britannica. Right, from there you can say James Frazer is associated with totemism. Even Durkheim gave his theory of religion. His book Elementary Forms of Religious Life is related to this, right? Elementary Forms of Religious Life. In that he talks about that. Right. Even in the same book, Durkheim also talks about sacred and profane. You can say sacred is holy and profane is secular kind of thing, mundane kind of thing, daily routine things, right? So that is, you can say that is the subject matter of this particular topic. Not only this, within this you can get question on myth and rituals, right? And within rituals you can talk about the rite de passage, the concept of which was given by Arnold van Gennep, right? Even this rite de passage was later on used by Victor Turner in his symbolic anthropology, the approach of symbolic anthropology. He used this rite de passage. This year you get the question liminality, that is also based on that, right? The liminality was based on this topic. Liminal stage is the transitional stage. Okay, so in the rite de passage he also talk about the three stages of transition from one status to the other, right? बच्चा बड़ा होता है तो वो transition होता है, you can say childhood to the adolescence, right? And during that stage, during that status transformation, there are three stages according to Van Gennep. The first stage is separation from childhood. The second is transition or the liminal stage. And the third is incorporation into the adulthood, right? That thing was used by Victor Turner to explain, and he not only used that liminal stage on an individual, rather he applied that on the entire society. I will discuss that in detail in symbolic anthropology. Right. Okay. So rite de passage, myths and rituals. Even in that same topic we talk about the witchcraft and sorcery. Right. You can say witchcraft and sorcery is also a type of magic. But here magic is not done for any good, right? Magic normally, according to James Frazer, it works on two laws: law of similarity and contagion. Right? Magic can be good magic to protect the tribe, or it can be to increase the fertility of the soil or the crop, right, or the productivity, even to improve the fertility of the women, right? So there can be many, you can say, regions for magic. It can be good and it can be bad, right? Witchcraft and sorcery comes under this bad magic, not music. Okay, so in today's this session, I'm going to talk about witchcraft and sorcery. Right? What is the difference between the two? Although both looks similar, if we try to understand it superficially, because both are evil practices, right? Both are looked down by the society, not appreciated by the society or the community where it is practiced. And in our society also, we might have heard in our society about witchcraft, kala jadoo karne wala, Dayan, right? And sometime many bad incidents you might have come across where a woman was brutally thrashed and killed by the community members, just on the suspicion that she might be practicing this black magic, or she is unlucky, she is bringing harm on the community member, she is responsible for the disease, she is responsible for the death of some person, or misfortune in the entire community, loss of the crop, or whatever you can say. Sometimes people believe that witches, they can steal the soul or spirit of an individual and then they can kill them. People believe that sorcerers, they can perform black magic and they can bring harm to the people. Right? Now, this belief on the witchcraft and sorcery, you may not be very aware in the modern society, but in simple society, such practices, witchcraft and sorcery, are important part of their life. I'm not saying they are important, but yes, they are important part of their life. They justify disease, they justify death, they justify any form of misfortune in their society to these things, right? If you talk about the Kuru society, the four people of New Guinea, in that society, there is a practice of cannibalism. And these people, four people, they eat the brain of the dead. They eat the brain of the dead, right? And since in there that is uncooked, so they get an infection from that brain and they get that kind of, you can say, nervous system disease, right? But what they say, that how come this disease comes? So they say, they believe that it is because of this sorcery. Someone have practiced sorcery on them, right? So this kind of belief, in this disease, the entire nervous system is broken. The people who have this disease, Kuru, they die a slow death. So basically, this disease, these people of Papua Guinea, they associate with sorcery, right? So they find a justification for their life, right, on the basis of these things, right? Now, basically, what is the similarity between the two and what are the difference between the two? On that you can write the answer for this, right? Sometime you visualize that witch in your mind, which is normally a woman, but is that so that it will be a woman always, right? Or it can be a male also. right? So according to Evans Pritchard, who did field work in Africa, and he studied witchcraft and sorcery too, along with their political systems, their kinship and their history. So he conducted study and he found that Nupe, in Nupe, it is a woman. In Nupe society, but in Gwari, it can be a male, right? So which can be men or women. And similarly, sorcerer also can be male or female. So there is no such thing that whatever you visualize, because in movies, in web series or whatever you see, you have seen that which is normally a woman, but it is not always true which can be men or women. Now what is the difference? What is the fundamental difference between the two? Similarity is that both are evil figure, right? Both are disrespected by the society and have very low status. मिल जाते हैं तो पकड़ के पीट पीट के मार ही देते हैं, राइट? इस तरह का इनका स्टेटस है सोसाइटी में, राइट? नाउ हाउ बोथ डिफर? सी, विच इज इनहेरेंटली एविल, विच इज इनहेरेंटली एविल. That means her body is evil, even if she desires to bring misfortune on someone or to cause harm of someone, she can do it, right? Her body is the source of evil. Only just by desiring, she can bring misfortune, can cause harm to others. So that is how she do that. On the other hand, sorcerer do or it practice black magic, right, using bones, skull, and some you can say chanting and mantras. Okay, so that is how they differ. Sorcerer do that thing. So simply, if you want to understand from the first instance, that is the similarity and difference. Let us take both of them elaborately now, that what is witchcraft or what is a witch and what is sorcery. So I will give you some characteristics of witch. First of all, some characteristics of witch. See, witch and sorcery, इसके ऊपर काम किया है इवांस प्रिचार्ड ने. Just remember that. Okay, characteristics of witch. So witches have anti-social character, or you can say behavior. They have anti-social behavior. Sometimes they practice cannibalism also. Sometimes they practice cannibalism also. Right? Okay. In order to enhance their powers, cannibalism, and sometimes they also indulge in incestual relations. Why they do so? Cannibalism or incestual relationships? In order to enhance their powers. right? They have antisocial behavior, they may practice cannibalism, they may practice incestual relations to increase their powers, right? The witches have, or they show, deep sense of greed. Witches show deep sense of greed, jealousy, hatred towards the people, right? They show such emotions, greed, jealousy, hatred towards the people, right? Which can be men or women, which can be men in Gwari according to Evans Pritchard, and women in Noob. He studied the communities in Sudan, so there you all know that he wrote a book, The Newer, right? The Newer. So these communities live near this group, right? He also, अगर हम बात करें Evans Pritchard की, so the African political systems he wrote, he edited that book, The African Political Systems, along with the Mayor Fortis, right? वो भी याद रख सकते हैं आप. So male और female दोनों हो सकते हैं. Witches, power of witches is internal and inherited. The power of witches, sorry, is internal and inherited. You can say which body acts as evil, right? Even if she desires, she can bring misfortune to others, right? Even just by desiring, because her body possesses that evil power, right? That is the other thing, right? Witches are believed to bring misfortune to the society or untimely death, that you have to understand. These are some basic characteristics. Now, sorcerer is also an evil figure similar to sorcerer is also evil figure and a magician who practice black magic, right? Who practice black magic to bring harm to the people or the entire community, right? Sorcerer is also evil, and he or she have antisocial behavior, right? Sorcerer use contagious magic, mainly contagious magic, right? Or it may use the similar homeopathic, right, or similarity magic. What are the two? Let me tell you again. See, as the doctor, these two types were given, this distinction was given by James Fraser in his book The Golden Bough. See, similarity magic, इसमें क्या होता है कि सिमिलर चीज़ें सिमिलर इफेक्ट प्रोड्यूस करती हैं, राइट. बेसिकली बादल गरजता है, सो आप पहाड़ पे चढ़ जाओ और वहां से यू जस्ट थ्रो सम स्टोन्स, राइट. दे विल प्रोड्यूस सिमिलर साउंड लाइक द क्लाउड्स, राइट. सो इट विल ब्रिंग रेन अकॉर्डिंग टू some tribes in Munda and others in central India, according to Dr. D.N. Majumdar, right, who studied Mundas and Hos especially. ठीक है. सो ये सिमिलरिटी मतलब सिमिलर चीजें सिमिलर चीज प्रोड्यूस करती हैं. कंटेजियस मीन्स सपोज आपको मेरे पे मैजिक करना है, मेरा कोई कपड़ा मिल गया, बाल मिल गया, नेल मिल गया, राइट. ऑन दोज दैट मीन्स एनीथिंग विच इज कनेक्टेड टू मी और टू कनेक्टेड टू एनीवन. If someone finds that, so that can be used for contagious magic, right. So these sorcerer practice contagious as well as this similarity magic. इनका एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ. contagious में तो simply उनका कोई बाल मिल गया, hairs, nails or any cloth, right, that is used for magic against that individual. In this similarity magic, the sorcerer, कई बार आपने मूवीज में देखा होगा that a sorcerer who is practicing magic, black magic in some isolated place, she or he is sitting with a doll, right, and they are just inserting some needles and the person experiencing pain, right. That is, you can say, similarity magic, because that doll represents that individual, right. So these both types of magics are practiced by these sorcerers, right. Sorcerer learn this art of magic, right, and may transmit it to his or her apprentice, right. They learn this art, they master this art of magic and the techniques of magic, you can say, right. They employs many rituals to do the magic, right. They use many tools, or you can say they use these bones, they use skull, some mantras and unique techniques to perform magic, right. Now this magic sorcerers, they are found in almost all societies. The witches and sorcerers, they are found in almost all societies. Now I am taking together witches and sorcerers, they are found in almost all societies, and according to Bowie, even the rural France is not free from that, right. In India you might have come across many such instances of sorcery and witchcraft and some deaths in Assam, in Meghalaya, in Maharashtra, in central India, many places. Some states have passed laws against witchcraft, killing the witches and all, right. Meghalaya is one. So this is, you can say, is the thing, right. There are many levels, or you can say hierarchy of these witches and sorcerers among the Kipsigs of Kenya. Kipsigs of Kenya, there is a hierarchy of witches and sorcerers, right. The sorcerer who can perform sorcery against the whole tribe is known as Orgoyat. Orgoyat is the one who can perform sorcery against the whole tribe, right. And there is a less powerful one, that is Bonindet. born in debt is the less powerful one, right? You have seen some characteristics. Now I'm just giving you some crisp differences between the two, right? So that on those points you can just think, right? Two major points that you can think is the source of power, right? Among the sorcerer, the source of power is external in the magic, right? In the performance, in the ritual, in the technique. Whereas in the witches, the source of power is her or his body, right? Then the second major difference is that performance of magic, right? Sorcerer perform magic. This I am talking about the differences. Sorcerer has to perform the magic or the rituals. They have to employ the technique, right? And which just have to desire. She need not to perform the magic, right? She need not to perform the magic. Okay, witches and sorcerer both are evil figures, that I have told you in the earlier discussion. Okay, so now this is the entire information that you can have, right? Even Pritchard you can use, the others also you can use. Now what should be the structure of your answer? So introduction. In the introduction you can just define them. Then write characteristics of both of them. Witch and sorcerer, right? Write similarity, both are evil figures. Write differences, and conclusion. Significance of this study, right? What is the significance of this study that you can say, right? See, witchcraft and sorcery, these institutions, these practices, if you study, you can understand the behavior of individuals, how they perceive the social reality, how they justify their life. And if you can understand that, then think like an applied anthropologist, that how we can bring change, right? If you want to bring something positive that we are enjoying, then how we can bring that. In that manner you have to show in the conclusion, right? So this is it for you for today. We will meet again on Monday. Thank you. Till then, all the best.